The final curtain falls. Menglong's unforgettable goodbye that left the world in silence. When the world first heard the name Menglong, it was not just a name, it was a promise. A promise of talent, charm, and brilliance that could light up any screen. From his debut as a rising star to his transformation into one of Asia's most beloved actors and singers, Menglong's presence became more than entertainment. It became emotion. But now that light has dimmed, the world stands in collective disbelief, mourning a soul whose journey ended far too soon. The final curtain has fallen, and the applause has turned into tears. Menglong's death sent shockwaves through fans, friends, and fellow celebrities across the globe. The news broke quietly at first, whispered through social media, leaving many refusing to believe it. How could someone so full of life, laughter, and promise suddenly be gone? It was as if the universe itself went still, caught in a moment of heartbreak. The man who had once brought millions joy with his smile and songs was now being remembered with candlelight vigils, handwritten notes, and tear-stained tributes. At the heart of this tragedy lies a reminder of how fragile fame can be. Behind every camera flash, every curtain call, every cheer from the crowd, was a man carrying the weight of perfection. Those close to Menglong described him as humble, gentle, and deeply passionate. A man who gave everything to his craft, sometimes at the cost of his own peace. His days were filled with long filming hours, sleepless nights, and endless demands to keep up the image of perfection that fame required. Yet, no one saw the exhaustion behind his eyes. No one knew that the same passion that fueled his success might also have been quietly consuming him. The day he was gone, the world felt a void. Social media platforms overflowed with tributes, pictures, quotes, and memories of the actor who had touched so many lives. Fans from every corner of the world shared stories of how his performances had comforted them, inspired them, or helped them through dark times. The hashtags #GoodbyeYuMenglong and #ForeverInOurHearts trended for days, each post more emotional than the last. In streets, fans gathered with flowers, lighting candles beneath his posters, whispering his name like a prayer. It was not just grief, it was disbelief, sorrow wrapped in love, and silence louder than any applause. On the day of his funeral, thousands attended. The atmosphere was heavy with emotion, yet strangely serene, as if everyone there understood that they were not merely mourning a celebrity, but celebrating a legend. His coffin, surrounded by white lilies, symbolized the purity and peace his fans wished for him in the afterlife. Close friends could barely speak, their tears doing all the talking. Cameras captured moments that words could never describe. Actors holding each other for strength, fans collapsing in sobs, and the sight of Menglong's final resting place covered in letters from all around the world. Each letter was a piece of someone's heart, a small goodbye to a man who had unknowingly become part of their lives. Among those most deeply affected was Wang Yibo, Menglong's close friend and fellow actor. They had shared not only stages and screens, but laughter, struggles, and memories that now felt like fragments of another lifetime. Wang Yibo was seen standing silently by the coffin, eyes red with tears, his hand trembling as he placed a white rose beside his friend's portrait. The image of him breaking down became one of the most emotional symbols of the tragedy, a reminder that even those who seem strong on the outside can be broken by loss. The bond between the two had been one of brotherhood, a friendship rooted in mutual respect and shared dreams. Now, one half of that bond was gone forever. As days turned to weeks, the pain of Menglong's passing did not fade, it deepened. His music played on radio stations as a tribute, his shows replayed across streaming platforms, and his name became a constant on every entertainment headline. But what hurt most was the sense of unfinished dreams. There were projects he was supposed to start, songs he planned to release, places he wanted to visit, and people he still wanted to meet. Life had written a beautiful story for him, but death had closed the book too soon. Fans across the world began organizing memorials in his honor. From Beijing to Seoul, From Los Angeles to Paris, candles flickered in his memory. Murals of Yu Menglong appeared on city walls, capturing his iconic smile, his soulful eyes, and the warmth he radiated. His artistry had transcended borders, language, and culture, and even in death, it continued to connect hearts. Many spoke of how Yu Menglong's passing had changed the way they saw life, pushing them to appreciate every moment and every person they loved. He had always said, "Life is short, but art makes it eternal." Now, those words felt prophetic, echoing through every fan's heart as if he had known his time was limited. Behind the glamour of his life lay a reality few ever saw. Fame, while dazzling, can also be isolating. It creates walls between who you are and who the world expects you to be. Yu Menglong, despite his success, was known to be quiet and introspective. He valued peace over publicity, kindness over competition. Those who worked with him often said he treated everyone equally, from the directors to the assistants, always with a smile and a gentle voice. To the world, he was a star. To his friends, he was family. And now, both the world and his loved ones must navigate a reality without him. The silence he left behind is deafening. It's in the empty sets where his laughter once echoed, in the studios where his voice once sang, and in the hearts of those who still can't believe he's gone. Yet, amidst the sorrow, there is also gratitude. Gratitude for the memories, the art, the moments that made us feel alive. Gratitude for the legacy he left behind, one that will continue to inspire generations to come. In his final days, Yu Menglong had reportedly spoken about wanting to take a break, to rest, to find himself again away from the chaos of fame. Perhaps, in a way, he finally has. His journey may have ended, but his story will never be forgotten. Every performance he gave, every lyric he sang, and every smile he shared remains a timeless reminder of his heart and humanity. The industry continues to pay tribute to him in countless ways. Awards have been renamed in his honor, scholarships created in his memory for aspiring artists, and foundations established to promote mental health awareness among entertainers, something Yu Menglong himself had quietly advocated for. His death, while tragic, sparked a necessary conversation about the pressures of stardom and the importance of caring for one's inner world. In losing him, the world has learned, painfully but powerfully, to listen more closely to artists, to loved ones, and to themselves. Now, when fans speak of Yu Menglong, they don't just talk about his roles or his voice, they talk about his soul. The way he made them feel seen, the way his smile could turn a bad day around, the way his work touched even those who never met him. His existence was more than fame, it was light, and though that light has faded from this world, its glow continues to live on in every heart that beats with love for him. The echoes of Yu Menglong's passing still ripple through hearts across the world. Though time continues to move forward, the grief remains suspended in the air, gentle but unyielding, like a haunting melody that refuses to fade. Every mention of his name now carries a mix of reverence and sorrow, and every memory feels like a scene frozen in time. The story of his final goodbye is not just one of loss, but of love, reflection, and the unspoken connection between a star and his people. As the world looks back on his life, new stories continue to surface. Stories from friends, from co-stars, from fans who were touched by a single act of kindness. One production assistant recalled how Yu Menglong once stayed behind long after filming ended, just to help crew members pack up equipment. "He didn't want to leave anyone behind," she said tearfully. "He always made sure everyone was okay before he left. That was just who he was." It is moments like these that make the pain of his departure even sharper, for it reminds everyone not only of the star he was, but the human being he remained beneath the fame. At memorials across Asia, scenes of heartbreak painted the world in shades of mourning. In Beijing, thousands gathered beneath a sea of white lights and paper lanterns that drifted slowly into the night sky. Each lantern carried a message, a wish, a goodbye, or a promise to keep his legacy alive. The sight was breathtaking. For a moment, it felt as though the stars themselves had descended to honor the one who once shone brightest among them. Fans sang softly in unison, their voices trembling through tears as they performed his song. "I Remember You," turning the night into a moving concert of grief and love. In Seoul, fans gathered outside a large mural of Yu Menglong's smiling face, painted with stunning detail and surrounded by candles. Some knelt in silence, others whispered his name as though speaking to an old friend. One young woman sobbed quietly as she held a small photograph of him against her chest. "He saved me," she said simply. "His voice helped me through my darkest days. I just wish we could have saved him too." Her words struck a painful chord, echoing the sentiments of millions who felt the same. Back in Shanghai, the streets outside the funeral hall overflowed with mourners. White flowers blanketed the ground, forming a soft carpet that led to his portrait, an image that captured his warmth and calmness perfectly. There was no loud music, no chaos, only the sound of sniffles, prayers, and the faint flutter of banners bearing his name. When the coffin was carried out, the crowd went silent. Phones stopped recording. People simply bowed their heads. In that silence, the magnitude of his loss could truly be felt. It wasn't the silence of emptiness, it was the silence of love, too deep to put into words. Those who knew Yu Menglong personally have continued to share glimpses into his final months. It is said that he had been reflecting deeply on life, questioning fame, and yearning for peace. He wanted to take a long break, one of his close friends revealed. He talked about traveling quietly, far away from the noise, maybe to the mountains or the sea. He wanted to breathe again. His longing for solitude now feels painfully symbolic, a man trying to escape the noise of the world, only to leave it entirely. Yet, even in death, Yu Menglong's spirit seems to linger in the places he loved most. Fans who visited his favorite filming locations spoke of feeling his presence in the wind, in the stillness, in the quiet beauty he often admired. A group of admirers returned to a lakeside spot where he once filmed a romantic scene, scattering petals into the water while playing his song softly in the background. The reflection of the petals dancing on the surface felt like a scene straight from one of his dramas. Only this time the story had no script, no ending, only emotion. The entertainment industry, too, continues to pay tribute in its own way. Directors who once worked with him describe him as the heart of every project. Co-stars say that his laughter could fill an entire set, and that his absence now feels like a missing heartbeat. Some productions have dedicated entire episodes and film endings to his memory, including special messages that read, "For Yu Menglong, you will forever be our light." Award ceremonies have paused for a minute of silence in his honor, the entire audience standing still as his image fills the screen, a radiant smile frozen in time. But perhaps the most heart-wrenching tribute came from Wang Yiba, his longtime friend and brother in spirit. During a live event, Yiba paused mid-performance, unable to continue as tears streamed down his face. The audience, understanding instantly, joined him in silence. Later, he posted a single sentence on social media, "I hope you're smiling where you are, brother." That post alone gathered millions of responses within hours, proof of how deeply Yu Menglong's life had touched everyone around him. There is something poetic about the way the world remembers him. His films now feel heavier with meaning, his songs more haunting with emotion. Even his old interviews have resurfaced online, where fans replay every word, searching for hidden messages or final thoughts. In one particularly emotional clip, he said, "I don't want people to remember me for being perfect. I just want them to remember that I was real." That authenticity, his humanity, is exactly what keeps his memory alive. As the months pass, his family has chosen to honor him privately, asking for peace and prayers. Still, they have expressed immense gratitude to fans for their love and support, saying that it has helped them find strength in their darkest time. His mother was quoted as saying, "Every flower, every message, every tear, it shows how much he was loved. And that love gives us comfort." Though Yu Menglong's story ended too soon, it continues to be written in the hearts of those he inspired. His image has become a symbol of grace, humility, and artistry. His passing, tragic as it was, awakened a global reflection on the emotional toll of fame, mental health, and the importance of compassion in a world obsessed with perfection. Today, his legacy is not defined by how he died, but by how he lived, by the laughter he shared, the art he created, and the warmth he brought into every soul that crossed his path. The world may never hear his voice in person again, but his music still plays, his films still shine, and his name still inspires. That is the power of a true artist, one whose essence cannot be dimmed by death. And so, as the final curtain truly falls, the applause continues, not with noise, but with love, remembrance, and gratitude. The world may be silent, but within that silence, Yu Menglong's voice still echoes, gentle, eternal, unforgettable. The star may have fallen, but the light he left behind will forever guide those who loved him. Even in the stillness of his goodbye, he remains alive in memory, alive in spirit, alive in the hearts that will never stop missing him.